The first episode begins with a detained black woman trying to escape a facility. When she reaches a dead end, she channels her telekinesis to blow the gate away. However, the security guards shoot her fatally before she can escape and then drag her body through a corridor visible to the other detainees. All this while, the boss watches the entire event unfold through a giant screen. In the following scenes, we see the lives of 5 people living in South London, unaware of how their lives are about to change. Michael, a delivery driver, surprises his girlfriend Dion with a new car. The next day, Michael delivers a package to Charlene, who tries to flirt with him. Her sister Sabrina teases her and gets ready to leave for Belgrave Hospital, where she works as a nurse and is loved by the patients. A group of young men come to see Taser, who was admitted after a street fight went wrong. Taser, with his gang called the Tower Boys, crashed a house party, but when Sixers, their rival gang, lured them into a fight, Taser ended up getting stabbed. On the other hand, Andre gets a loan to buy a phone for his son AJ. Andre's friend manages to get him a job, but when they do a background check, they let him go due to his criminal record. While he storms out in dismay, wondering how he will provide for AJ, a young man named Rodney tries to sell him weed. Andre sends him away, and coincidentally, Rodney then runs into Michael trying to make a delivery nearby. Michael pretends to take Rodney's phone number just to get rid of him and then heads to his friend's restaurant, where he asks Gabriel to arrange the perfect dinner for him to propose to Diane. In the next scene, Michael visits his hospitalized mom, Tina, and introduces the representative from a sickle cell center called Health and Unity. This facility offers sickle cell care to people, and Tina looks forward to it. Moving on, Michael enters a neighborhood for his last delivery, but Taser and his boys ambush him for money. When Michael fights back, Taser stabs him and runs. As blood gushes from Michael's wound, suddenly his eyes turn a golden hue, and in the next scene, he is back in his van, making his way toward that neighborhood. Everything plays out the same way, but this time, Michael doesn't fight with the gang, who let him go. In the next scene, we see Rodney, who hasn't had much luck with his roadside business. When he's getting late for a delivery, he runs after the bus but ends up running at the speed of lightning. When he stops, he has the same gold hue in his eyes as Michael's. He asks a passerby about the premises and is shocked to learn that he is in Edinburgh, leaving him fairly confused. As the episode goes on, Andre realizes his company did not pay him for the hours he put in, and now he has nothing for his son who's hungry back at home. In frustration, Andre hits the ATM, which results in a giant crack in the entire wall, and cash starts flowing out of the machine, in the presence of a security camera. Andre runs home with the cash and hides it, finally relieved that he can spend it on his son without worry for some time. In the next scene, Sabrina gets ready for a date with her partner Kevin, but when he fakes an emergency as always, Charlene forces her to show up at his house, where he is busy with another girl. When Kevin blames Sabrina for ruining his life, her eyes change color and she turns back in rage, which sends Kevin flying toward his door. On the other hand, Michael takes Dion out for dinner and proposes to her. When they get home, they start making out, but suddenly Dion notices Michael's eyes, and instantly, Michael is transported to a different scene where 5 people with extraordinary powers are preparing for a fight. When their apparent leader turns around, Michael is appalled to find out that it is his future self. Just as they are about to be hit, the future Michael pauses time and then takes Michael to a graveyard. He tells him that he is in the future and brings him to Dion's grave. This is where Michael learns that Dion will die within 3 months, and this might be his only chance at saving her. In the next scene, Michael returns to his home to an upset Dion who's freaking out since he disappeared into thin air right in front of her. Michael jots down the names of Andre, Sabrina, Rodney, and Taser on a piece of paper along with the date. He goes to meet Gabriel, who convinces him that he probably saw a dream. Meanwhile, Taser and his gang get lured into a trap set by the Sixers. Once Taser is singled out, the Sixers mock him, but this is exactly the opportunity Taser was looking for. He uses his power to become invisible and stabs 5 men, after which he flees. Later, Taser plans with Screamers to turn their lives around, since he is now invincible. Moving on, Michael hears the news of a street crime involving a gang, and he suddenly remembers Taser was the guy who stabbed him. This revelation makes him teleport to the living room, where Dion comforts him. Later, he goes to the same neighborhood where he last saw Taser. Just then, the Sixers show up and think Michael is an ally of Taser, so they shoot him. Unknowingly, Michael stops in time, grabs the bullet, and returns to his lounge, where he passes out. When he is awake, Diane suggests that he drop the chase, but Michael convinces her that he will be okay. On the other hand, Taser and his men steal some stuff from a gangster, but it goes downhill when Crazy, the leader of a big gang, shows up later at their hood, ready to get his stuff back. Taser wins the one-on-one fight, but Crazy shoots Toozy as a warning to stay away from his goods. The next episode begins with Sabrina having trouble at work. When she almost injects a patient with extra medication, she locks herself in the storeroom where things start levitating as she panics. She runs out of the hospital and walks aimlessly, almost getting hit by a car when suddenly Andre pulls her to safety. On the other hand, Michael tries to master his control over time, and when he can't get in touch with Taser, he goes to his neighborhood. As usual, Taser ignores him, but Michael teleports himself, proving to Taser that he is not the only one with powers. After that, Michael appears in Gabriel's bar, freaking him out but proving his point that he has indeed got superpowers. Moving on, Dion, who works as a social worker, goes to meet Kemi. Her mother, who is Taser's grandmother, tells her that Kemi disappeared a while ago when she said she found a facility that helps people with extra abilities like her. As it happens, Kemi is the same woman from the start of the series, and we see scientists taking her tissue sample. In the next scene, Rodney shows off his skills to his friend Spud, and when he accidentally hurts himself, he heals back instantly. Later that evening, Crazy shows up at Sabrina's door and gives Charlene, his girlfriend, an expensive gift. Sabrina is surprised that he got out of jail sooner. Anyway, she warns him never to lay his hands on Charlene since she once ended up with a black eye. Charlene and Sabrina then head to a club called Onyx. When a man tries to force himself on Charlene, Sabrina hits him and runs with Charlene. Suddenly, that man's eyes turn golden, and he jumps high, ready to attack them. Just as he is about to get them, Sabrina uses her telekinesis to thrust him into a wall, and he dies. While the sisters escape, the shady organization is informed about that guy's death. Meanwhile, Michael arranges to meet Rodney at a deserted park, but a hooded guy shows up through a portal and attacks Rodney, who is saved by Michael just in time. Michael teleports him to safety and explains how he needs Rodney's help, but Rodney walks out since he doesn't care. In the next scene, Sabrina decides to turn herself in for murder, but the police inform her that there wasn't any murder reported. On her way back, Sabrina is shocked to find that the body is missing, despite his blood on the wall. On the other hand, when the bailiff shows up at Andre's house, Andre decides to rob a local gang hideout, which is controlled by Crazy, so he analyzes it with his friend. Dion and her colleague pursue missing people, and Dion figures out that all the missing people could change their eye color just like Michael. All of the parents of these people with powers had sickle cell disease. Meanwhile, Michael finally finds Sabrina and asks for her help after telling her the truth. While they are talking in the car, Tina has a sickle cell flare-up, so Michael teleports away to help her. Next, since Taser seeks revenge against Crazy, he leaves for the hideout, just like Andre, who plans to steal that night. Rodney wakes up to find Spud missing, so he traces the address and reaches the same warehouse, as does Sabrina since she is trying to protect Charlene as she buys weed. As a fight ensues, all four end up encountering each other and then escape after protecting themselves with their powers. Later, Rodney meets his mom, who refuses to let him stay with her since she is married to a white racist. Seeing Spud in this state, Rodney changes his mind and decides to help Michael. While Michael and Rodney try to find Andre, Sabrina gets promoted to head nurse. When she calls Charlene to tell the news, Charlene tells her that Crazy hit her, after which Charlene goes missing. Meanwhile, Dion learns that superhumans have healing powers, which is why the hooded men capture them. On the other hand, Taser is hell-bent on tracking down Crazy, and he roughs up the girl who set their fight with the Sixers. The police pull over Taser and his boys, but he uses his invisibility to escape. Meanwhile, Andre is attacked and apprehended by a hooded man who is equally strong. Shortly after, Taser is also attacked, but he is saved by Michael, Rodney, and Sabrina. In the next scene, Dion ends up in the Ashington estate where the hooded men reside. Michael teleports to her and reveals the truth about the future. On the other hand, Andre is healed by poor Jasmine, another girl held at the facility. And then it is explained to Andre that the superpowers are a mutation of the sickle cell disease, which they call Supacell. The organization offers him a job to find more individuals with Supacell. Moving on, Michael explains what he saw in the future to Sabrina, Rodney, and Taser. Next, Crazy calls Taser and asks him to meet him at A-Town, Ashington Estate, later that night, where he reveals he is also a Supacell and can mimic any Supercell's powers. Just then, more hooded men arrive, including Andre. A fight ensues, and Crazy tries to kill them all, but Michael turns back in time and stops him. However, a stray bullet hits Dion, and Michael doesn't have spare power left to reverse time, so Dion dies. Sometime later, the five gather, and Michael informs them that he intends to go to the future and get revenge against the organization. It is shown that Charlene is held captive at the organization since they think she is the one with powers. In the end, the lady from the Sickle Cell Care Center is revealed to be the boss of the organization, and she orders Crazy to be killed. With that, the movie ends. Thanks for watching Supacell Recap. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you next time. Welcome, sci-fi fans. Futurist Flicks is thrilled to launch our exclusive membership program designed for loyal fans like you. By joining, you'll unlock early access to recap videos, unseen recap videos, raffle prizes, free merch giveaways, exclusive content and behind-the-scenes insights, access to community events, live streams, and Q&A sessions. Join the Cosmic Crew today and get instant access to exclusive perks. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more intergalactic adventures.